There is absolutely nothing blocking you. The reality you desire is already a perfectly locked system, and you've been misinterpreting the lock this entire time. This is not a motivational platitude. It is a direct consequence of the observer effect in quantum mechanics. Physics itself proves that the system of your reality is sealed, stabilized, and made real by your attention alone. The very act of your looking is the force that locks it into place. In the next 50 minutes, I will show you the scientific proof for this claim, and more importantly, I will give you the master key to a system you didn't even know you were already controlling from the inside. We will look at the startling implications of the quantum Zeno effect. We will unpack the core principles of wave function collapse from experiments like the double-slit experiment, because this isn't philosophy. This is physics. This is the operational manual for the architecture of reality. But first, before we dive into the mechanics, we must acknowledge and validate the profound exhaustion you have felt. The spiritual fatigue, that deep, grinding frustration of trying to break through walls that were never actually there. The feeling of being on the outside of your own life, looking in. You've done the work, you've set the intentions, you have visualized, affirmed, and scripted, yet the door remains shut. That feeling of pushing against an invisible, immovable object is real. The cognitive dissonance of knowing you are a powerful creator, yet seeing no tangible change in your world, is one of the most draining experiences a conscious being can endure. It leads to a specific kind of spiritual burnout, a sense where you begin to doubt not just the methods but your own power. Your fight was not a failure. It was a misunderstanding of the system's architecture. You were trying to solve the wrong problem. Have you ever felt completely exhausted from pushing against an invisible wall? A block you can feel but never seem to overcome? If the profound relief of knowing there's nothing to fight against resonates with you, hit the like button now. It signals that this message of empowerment is needed. So how reality creation works is not about breaking in. It's not about overcoming resistance or dissolving blocks. Let me break down the real mechanics. Imagine your most desired reality. The health, the abundance, the deep fulfillment, the love. Imagine it all exists inside a perfectly sealed, impenetrable vault. It's a marvel of cosmic engineering, shimmering and solid. For years, maybe your entire life, you have believed you are on the outside of this vault, desperately trying to get in. You have seen it, you have felt it, and you have spent all your energy, all your focus trying to find the combination. You've treated every self-help book, every spiritual teacher, every new technique as a potential tool to crack the code. You listen for the subtle clicks of the tumblers, hoping this next affirmation, this next meditation will be the one that finally swings the heavy door open. You have spent your life as a spiritual safecracker, convinced that your prize is locked away from you. This struggle, this effort, this constant striving defines your entire journey. It is the story of the seeker, always on the outside, always trying to get in. But the fundamental premise is wrong. The entire model is an illusion. You are not on the outside, and that lock was never designed to keep you out. It was designed to keep your creation stable. By the end of this, you will stop being a safecracker and realize you are the architect of the vault itself. So how does this quantum lock actually work? How can a simple act of looking at something seal it into a fixed state? To understand this, we have to look at the most foundational, the most baffling, and the most important experiment in all of modern physics. The double-slit experiment. The science is simple, but its implications will change the very way you perceive your existence. Imagine firing single electrons, the tiny particles that make up our world, at a screen with two vertical slits in it. If you don't watch which slit the electron goes through, it behaves like a wave. It acts as pure potential, passing through both slits at the same time and creating an interference pattern on the wall behind it. It exists in a state of all possibilities at once. But the moment you place a detector, a measuring device to see which slit the electron goes through, everything changes. The act of observation forces the wave of potential to collapse. It becomes a single particle. It chooses a path. It goes through one slit or the other, creating a simple, solid pattern on the back wall. The infinite possibilities vanish and a single, fixed reality emerges. Why? because something was watching. This is the observer effect explained simple. Your focused attention is the force that turns infinite possibility into one locked reality. You are the observer. The quantum field is that wave of infinite possibilities. And your focused awareness, the thing you choose to look at and believe is real, is the measuring device that collapses all potential into the single, concrete, locked-in experience you call your life. This isn't a metaphor. This is the fundamental mechanic of the universe. And it brings us to the heart of the paradox that has kept you feeling stuck for years, for decades. I call it the reality lock paradox. The paradox is this: the very act of observing your reality and defining it as blocked, difficult, or lacking what you desire is the precise quantum event that locks it into that state. Your belief in the block is the observation that collapses the wave of potential into the reality of a block. You are not discovering a lock that was already there. You are forging the lock into existence with the force of your attention. This is why every method you've tried has failed or produced frustratingly temporary results. Think about the sheer effort you have expended, the affirmations you've repeated until your throat was sore, all while a deeper part of you was observing the lack of what you were affirming. The vision boards you created, which you looked at from the perspective of someone who did not yet have those things. The spiritual battles you waged, trying to remove, clear, and fight against negative blocks. All of that effort was a form of observation. It was you, standing outside the vault, staring intently at the giant, impenetrable lock and shouting, "That lock is so strong. That lock is keeping me out." And the universe, as a perfect, impartial system, simply responds to your powerful observation and says, "As you observe, so it is." Lock strengthened. System sealed. Trying to remove a block is like trying to dry yourself off while standing under a waterfall. The very action reinforces the condition you're trying to escape. It is a powerful observation of the problem, and that observation is the most creative force you possess. Think about it. Where in your life have you been trying to break down a wall, when in reality, you were just pushing against the designed structure of your own creation? The problem is not your effort. It has never been your effort. The problem is your position. You have been observing from the outside, looking in, and every attempt to break the lock has only confirmed your position on the wrong side of the door. The new paradigm, the only way forward, has nothing to do with finding a stronger hammer or a more clever technique to crack the code. It has everything to do with a quiet, profound, and world-altering shift. A shift in the position of the observer. The key is not to get into the vault. The key is to realize you are already inside, and to begin observing your world from that new position of power. And here is the great, terrifying, and ultimately liberating revelation upon which all of creation pivots. You are not outside the vault. You have never been outside. You are inside it right now. The reality you are currently experiencing, the room you are sitting in, the air you are breathing, the balance in your bank account, the state of your relationships. This is the vault. It is the system that is perfectly and immutably locked by your own constant, unwavering observation. The feeling of being stuck, the frustration of pushing against an invisible wall, is the sensation of you pressing against the interior architecture of a reality you yourself have sealed shut. You've been trying to break out of a room you don't realize you locked yourself inside. All your effort, all your spiritual work, all your visualizations and affirmations aimed at breaking into a new reality were based on a fundamental misperception of your location in the cosmos. You were sending a rescue party to a location you already inhabited. This changes everything. Let that sentence land. This changes everything. It means the entire story of your struggle is a phantom narrative. The blocks you sought to dissolve were never made of stone. They were made of shadow cast by the light of your own focused attention. The war you were fighting was against a reflection in a mirror. You were wrestling with the very stability you were creating. There is no barrier between you and what you want, because you are not on one side of a wall trying to get to the other. You are the conscious energy that constitutes the entire room, walls and all. The power, therefore, is not in breaking through. It is not in force, or will, or fighting against the current state. The paradigm of struggle is over. It has been rendered obsolete by a simple shift in perspective. The true power is in choosing differently. It is the subtle, silent, and omnipotent power of redirecting your observation. It is the power of the architect who, having designed and built a room, decides to redecorate. Your work is no longer to hammer against the walls of your life. That is the path of exhaustion, of spiritual fatigue. It is the source of the pain that brought you here today. The new work, the real work, is to turn your back to the walls entirely. It is to finally, completely, accept your position as the sole occupant of this space and to realize you have absolute authority over its internal conditions. You can simply turn your attention to the furniture. You can change the feeling state, the internal atmosphere of the room. You can decide that this space will now be filled with peace instead of anxiety. You can decide it will be illuminated by abundance instead of shadowed by lack. And as you change the internal atmosphere, the quantum lock responds. The room itself begins to reconfigure around your new observation. This is the master key. This is how to manifest without blocks. You stop acknowledging them. You understand you're already in the system and simply change the internal program. You stop playing the role of the prisoner rattling the bars and assume your true role as the sovereign who designed the palace. What if every single challenge you faced wasn't a sign you were locked out, but proof that you were inside, bumping against the very parameters you yourself set? Let that dissolve the entire story of struggle. Let it wash away the years of feeling like a failure. Every stubborn pattern that refused to change wasn't evidence of your weakness. It was evidence of your immense unconscious power to hold a reality in place. The system wasn't broken. It was working perfectly, responding with flawless precision to your unwavering observation of, this is how things are. This realization initiates the most profound identity transformation possible. You are not a seeker trying to get in. You are the sovereign occupant who determines the state of the room. You are not a victim of circumstance hoping for a key to appear. You are the very cause of the lock, the conscious observer whose gaze seals the door. The moment you look away from the lock, the moment you stop defining yourself as the one who is locked out or blocked, its power over you evaporates. Because its power was always your power, simply misapplied. You are the architect, the engineer, and the inhabitant. And from this moment forward, you will never again mistake the stability of your creation for the walls of a prison. You are home, and you have always been home. You just forgot that you hold the blueprint. This truth isn't just a concept. It's already operating in your life. It is an active principle. The universe, this system, has been leaving you clues all along. Quantum fingerprints all over the scene of your reality, proving that you are, and have always been, the one inside the locked room. You've just been misinterpreting them. You've been seeing them as evidence of your imprisonment, when they were actually signs of your absolute authority. I'm going to show you 3 of these signs now. And as I describe them, a profound recognition will wash over you. The intellectual epiphany you just had will begin to anchor itself into your lived experience, moving from your mind into your bones. The first quantum fingerprint is the one you've likely struggled with the most. Unshakable, repetitive patterns. Think of that one dynamic in your life that feels like a loop. The same kind of relationship partner, with a different face. The same cycle of financial lack, just with different numbers. The same feeling of being overlooked, in job after job. You fight it, you affirm against it, you do the work to heal it, and yet, there it is again, as reliable as gravity. You have called this a block, a curse, a trauma response you can't seem to beat. But from the perspective of the reality lock paradox, that pattern is not proof of your powerlessness. It is irrefutable proof of your immense power. That pattern is a testament to the stability and precision of your focused observation. Your ability to lock a reality into place is so profound, so unwavering, that the quantum field has no choice but to consistently render that exact scenario for you, over and over again. It's the quantum Zeno effect in plain sight. By repeatedly observing a state, you prevent it from changing. Your consistent observation of "I am always left," or "there is never enough money," or "I am never seen," acts as a constant, powerful measurement. You are holding the wave function in a collapsed state, with the sheer force of your attention. The pattern isn't a sign that the system is broken. It's a sign that the system is working with flawless perfection. It is a monument to your focus. It is your power, misapplied but magnificent. See it for what it is. Not a cage you are trapped in, but a structure you have expertly built and maintained through the power of your unwavering gaze. The stability of your problem is the evidence of the stability of your power. The second quantum fingerprint is perhaps the most frustrating one, receiving the opposite of what you are trying to manifest. You spend weeks focusing on abundance, visualizing wealth, only to be hit with an unexpected, massive bill. You pour your energy into affirming a loving partnership, only to experience a painful rejection that leaves you feeling more alone than ever before. This is the point where most people give up, convinced that none of this works, that reality is hostile and arbitrary. But again, this isn't failure. This is the system reflecting your true point of observation with terrifying accuracy. The quantum field doesn't respond to the words you say. It doesn't respond to the images in your head. It responds to the vibrational frequency of the observer, the total signal you are emitting. When you were visualizing wealth, were you truly observing from a state of abundance? Or were you observing your life from a state of deep, painful lack and trying to use a technique to fix it? Your observation was locked onto the problem. Your dominant signal was, "I don't have enough." The universe, in its perfection, responded not to your wish, but to your broadcast. It delivered an experience that perfectly matched the frequency of "I don't have enough," an unexpected bill. It's a perfect mirror. When you affirmed love, were you observing from a state of wholeness? Or were you observing from a state of aching loneliness, hoping to fill a void? Your observation was locked onto the absence of love, and the system perfectly delivered an experience to validate that observation. Rejection, more absence. The system is not mocking you. It is not punishing you. It is revealing you to yourself. These wrong manifestations are the most precise feedback mechanism you could ever ask for. They are showing you without judgment exactly where your point of observation is truly located. They prove, beyond any doubt, that the system is on, it is listening, and it is responding perfectly, 100% of the time. It never makes a mistake. The third quantum fingerprint is the most subtle and the most beautiful. It's those fleeting, unexplained moments of peace. You're driving, not thinking about anything in particular, and for a few seconds, a wave of profound calm and well-being washes over you. There's no reason for it. Your problems haven't been solved. The bills are still there. The situation is unchanged. But for a moment, the weight is just gone. It can happen in the shower, or in that quiet moment just before you fall asleep. A sudden, uncaused feeling that everything is all right. We usually dismiss these as random emotional glitches, neurological noise. They are not. These are moments when you temporarily cease your observation of the problem. In that brief window, you took your focus off the lock. You stopped staring at the walls of your vault. You weren't affirming, you weren't trying, you weren't struggling. You simply stopped observing your reality as a problem to be solved. And in that moment of non-observation, the system did something incredible. It defaulted to its natural unconstrained state, the state of pure potential, the state of coherence, the state of peace. That feeling isn't something you created. It's the baseline reality that is always present underneath the reality you are actively locking into place with your worried focus. It's the system taking a deep breath the moment you loosen your grip. These moments are the universe whispering to you. This is who you are when you stop telling the story of struggle. This peace is your home frequency. You can return here anytime you choose to simply shift your gaze. Repetitive patterns, wrong manifestations, sudden moments of peace. These are not random events happening to you. They are quantum fingerprints, evidence of a perfect system responding to you. Every single experience is simply a reflection of your internal point of observation. There are no obstacles. There is only feedback. There is no resistance. There is only a flawless mirror. See these signs now in your own life. Recognize them not as judgments, but as guides. They have been trying to show you your own power all along. I want you to take a moment and truly let this sink in. Which of these signs resonates most deeply? Which one just clicked, recontextualizing years of your life in a single instant? Let's create a powerful thread of validation for everyone on this journey. Comment which of these 3 signs you now recognize in your own life. I want to witness your realization. You understand it. You have seen the evidence in your life. Now let's feel it. Let's move this from an intellectual concept that fascinates the mind to a somatic reality that liberates the soul. It is one thing to look at the blueprint of a house and admire its design. It is another thing entirely to walk inside, feel the solid floor beneath your feet, and know that you are home. We are going to stop looking at the vault from the outside and truly, finally, occupy it from within. So I invite you now, if it is safe for you to do so, to gently close your eyes. If not, simply soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the role of the seeker, the fighter, the strategist. Let it all dissolve. There is nothing to figure out in this moment. There is only something to experience. Bring your awareness to the physical reality around you. Feel the points of contact your body is making with the chair, the floor. Sense the temperature of the air on your skin. Listen to the subtle sounds in your environment. The hum of a machine, the distant traffic, the sound of your own quiet breathing. This is the reality you have currently locked in. Not with chains, but with your beautiful, powerful, consistent observation. This is the system responding perfectly to your focus. Now, I want you to do something radical. Instead of fighting the walls of this reality, I want you to feel them. With your awareness, not your hands, I want you to gently reach out and touch the boundaries of your current creation. Touch the boundary of your current financial state. Just feel its edge. Don't judge it. Don't push it. Just acknowledge its shape, its texture. This is a structure you have observed into being. Now, bring your awareness to the edge of your current state of health. Feel its parameters, the energy levels, the physical sensations. Again, no judgment. You are simply taking inventory of your own architecture. Gently, touch the perimeter of your relationships, the dynamics, the feelings, the patterns. See them not as problems to be solved, but as the intricate wallpaper you have chosen for this room. Feel these boundaries not as barriers that are keeping you out. Feel them as the defined edges of the reality that is keeping you safe and stable. These are not prison walls. They are the load-bearing structures of your current masterpiece built from the material of your past attention. And for their service, for the stability they have provided, I want you to send them a wave of gratitude. Thank them for their perfect, unwavering reflection of your focus. Thank them for being so flawlessly obedient. Now, let the walls dissolve from your attention. Turn your awareness away from the boundaries, away from the perimeter, and feel the space within them. Feel the vast, infinite, untouchable space that exists inside your locked system. This is your inner world, and in here, you are absolutely free. The outer world may be a locked reflection of your past observation, but in this inner space, you have total and complete sovereignty. Right now, in this inner sanctum, you can choose to feel peace. You can choose to feel abundance. You can choose to feel radiant health. The walls do not dictate the feeling of the room. You do. You are the sole occupant, the sovereign architect of the atmosphere. Feel this freedom. The external system is locked, but your internal state is gloriously, infinitely malleable. This is your control panel. This is where all creation begins. You are not trapped. You are in command. And now, I want you to bring your awareness to the palm of your hand. Perhaps you feel a warmth, a tingling, a subtle vibration. A light is beginning to form there. This light is coalescing, taking shape, becoming dense and real in your energetic field. Feel it. This is the key. The key you thought you were searching for outside the vault. It's been here, with you, the entire time. It is forged from the pure substance of your own awareness. Feel its weight in your hand. Feel its intricate design. It is perfectly calibrated to you, and only you. It doesn't feel like a tool for a struggle. It feels like an instrument of certainty. You are not a prisoner desperately trying to pick a lock to escape. You are the master of the house, holding the key to a door you yourself locked for the sake of experience. Feel the profound peace that comes with this knowing. You hold the key. You can turn it whenever you choose. The feeling is not one of frantic escape. It is one of quiet, unshakable command. Hold this feeling. Let it saturate every cell of your being. This is your new baseline. This is your truth. And when you are ready, gently, slowly, begin to bring your awareness back to the room around you. Take a deep, conscious breath in. And on the exhale, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. As you return to this moment, what single word describes the feeling of being the sole, sovereign architect inside your perfectly sealed reality? Peace, power, certainty. Claim that word. It is yours. You are no longer a seeker. You are a system architect. This is not an affirmation. It is a statement of function. Your tool is not a hammer to break down walls that were never there. It is a key, the key of your awareness, used not to escape, but to consciously design and engage the locks that create stable, desired realities. The architect does not fight the structure. The architect defines it. And to do this, the architect follows 3 fundamental protocols. These are not steps you learn. They are modes of operation you adopt. The first protocol is the observation audit. Before any great structure is built, the architect must first survey the land. They must understand the existing terrain, the foundation, the materials already present. Your consciousness is that land. For one full day, your only task is to become the silent surveyor of your own attention. Carry a small notebook or use an app on your phone. And with radical honesty, simply notice where your observation is pointing. What are you locking into place? When you speak to a friend, do you complain about your job? You just reinforce the lock on dissatisfaction. When you look at your bank account, does your stomach tighten with worry? You just poured concrete into the foundation of scarcity. When you think about a relationship, do you replay old arguments? You are consciously re-engaging the lock on conflict. This is not about judgment, it is about data. An architect does not judge the land. They assess it to build effectively. For 24 hours, you are simply gathering the blueprints of the reality you are currently, and perhaps unconsciously, engineering. Notice the recurring thoughts, the habitual emotional responses, the stories you tell yourself and others. These are the load-bearing walls of your current vault. This simple practice is the foundation of how to manifest without blocks. It's using the observation audit to see what you've already built, to understand the mechanics of your own creative power in action. You will be stunned by how diligently you have been locking in the very realities you claim you do not want. Awareness is the first and most critical act of the architect. The second protocol is the inside-out focus. Once you have the data from your audit, you will feel a natural impulse to start focusing on the things you want instead. You'll want to picture the new car, the loving partner, the successful business. And this is where the old paradigm trips us up. The system architect knows that the universe does not respond to the pictures in your head. It responds to the signal of your observation point. You cannot observe a reality of wealth from an internal state of lack. You cannot observe a reality of love from an internal state of loneliness. Trying to do so is like standing outside the vault, looking at a picture of what's inside. You are still observing from the outside. The inside-out focus protocol dictates that you ignore the external picture entirely for a moment. Your only job is to shift your internal state, your feeling state, to match the reality you wish to experience. You don't focus on having the abundance. You focus on generating the feeling of security, of freedom, of ease within yourself right now. You don't visualize the perfect partner. You cultivate the feeling of being loved, cherished, and seen within your own heart, for no reason at all. This is the master key. By generating the feeling first, you are moving your point of observation from outside the vault to the inside. You are no longer a safecracker looking at a locked door. You have teleported yourself inside the room, and from this new vantage point, Your observation naturally begins to lock in a reality that matches your internal frequency. The external world has no choice but to reconfigure itself around your new observational signature. It is law. The third and most powerful protocol is the conscious lock-in. This is where you move from a passive surveyor and an internal engineer to a deliberate creator. This is where you proactively use the quantum Zeno effect, the stabilization of a state through repeated observation, as your primary building tool. It's a daily 5-minute practice. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and use the inside-out focus to generate the feeling state of your desired reality. Feel the peace, the success, the love, the wholeness. Let it saturate every cell of your being. Then, once that feeling is your dominant vibration, you vividly imagine the reality that corresponds to it. See it, feel it, touch it in your mind's eye. And here is the crucial step. Instead of letting that feeling drift away, you consciously lock it in. You look at that inner reality and you make a clear, calm, powerful declaration. This is my observed reality now. The system is locked. Feel the finality in that. It is not a hope. It is not a request. It is a command given to the quantum field. You are the observer, and you have just collapsed the wave of potential into the particle of your choosing. You are holding it stable with your focused attention. Do this for 5 minutes every day. You are not trying to make it happen. You are simply fulfilling your function as the observer, consistently choosing which reality gets stabilized by your gaze. You are being the architect. And the first act of a sovereign architect is to decide what no longer belongs in the design. What is the very first old story of limitation you will now consciously lock out of your system, knowing you hold the only key? Declare it to yourself. This becomes your integration framework. You wake up each morning not as a victim of circumstance, but as the system architect. You perform your observation audit throughout the day. You practice the inside-out focus to manage your state. And you perform your conscious lock-in as a non-negotiable act of creative command. Your life is no longer a series of random events you react to. It is a design project, and you are holding the blueprint, the materials, and the one and only key. You now understand the reality lock paradox. You are no longer a prisoner of circumstance, but the architect of your observed system. The deep, soul-level exhaustion of fighting against invisible walls has dissolved into the quiet certainty of the one who holds the key. You have moved from being a victim of the lock to the master of it. You have felt the shift from intellectual concept to embodied truth. You hold the key. But mastering the room you are in is just the first step. It is a profound and life-altering step, the one that reclaims all of your power from a world you thought was happening to you. But this mastery is the foundation for an expansion so vast, it will redefine the very limits of what you believe is possible. The universe is not a single vault. It is an infinite mansion. Imagine a structure with no end, a cosmic architecture built from pure potential. Each room in this mansion is a complete, total, and stable reality. There is a room where you are a celebrated artist, a room where you are a healer, a room where you found love sooner, a room where you never experienced that specific pain. Every possible configuration, every timeline, every choice you ever could have made exists right now, fully formed and waiting, as a silent, complete world within this mansion. These are not fantasies. They are dormant quantum possibilities. You have spent your life mastering the internal design of the single room you woke up in, believing it was the only one that existed. You learned how to change the color of its walls, the feeling of its furniture, the quality of its light. You have become the sovereign of your current reality. But now that you know you can change anything inside your current room, what if you could step into a completely different room altogether? What if the key you hold in your hand doesn't just lock and unlock the door to your present reality, but fits every single door in this infinite mansion? This is the next evolution of your power. When you combine your mastery of the lock, your focused, feeling-based observation, with a startling understanding of parallel timelines, you don't just change your reality, you consciously choose an entirely new one to inhabit. The work is no longer about redecorating, it is about relocation. You learn to stand at the threshold, turn the key of your awareness, and deliberately walk into a different, pre-existing reality that already contains the fulfillment you seek. This is not about building a new future brick by brick. It is about selecting the address of the future you wish to occupy and moving in. This is where the journey takes a quantum leap. Subscribe and activate all notifications, because in the next video, we move from mastering your current reality to consciously choosing a new one. This is the next evolution. The science that underpins this is just as real and just as fundamental as the observer effect we have discussed today. That's why in our next video, Parallel Realities Explained, how to shift your observation and choose a new timeline. We will explore the physics of timeline jumping. We will move beyond theory and give you the protocol for making the shift. And from there, we will expand even further. We will explore quantum entanglement is more personal than you think. Here's how it connects your reality to others, revealing how your personal reality system is interconnected with those around you, and how you can create coherent change on a collective level. The journey does not end. It only expands. You have reclaimed your power. You have understood the system. You are not blocked. The system is locked, and you hold the key. Now, the only question left is, which reality will you choose to lock in next?